Shalom, Yasharala. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And citation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson, basically, which was inspired by just looking through the the news, basically the newsreel today, and there's a certain theme that's being highlighted in this in the news today. If you've you watch the news like how we watch the news, you would have known about earlier about this Iranian situation this morning. All right, let me see if I can find it'll probably be at the very bottom, but let me see, just touch on it. All right, so it's earlier this morning, but nevertheless, there was basically like an all right, here we go. It says let me read this. It says prominent Iranian scientists who allegedly ran state nuclear program assassinated in Tehran. All right, and as you remember how the year began, all right, the year began with the assassination of their top general over there, Qasem Soleimani. All right, now if you understand about how these stories come out and everything like that, you'll notice that the wartime stories and things like that start pumping up by the end of the year, and they, most of the time they'll settle down around February and things like that. All right, but nevertheless, in the same time and token that, we have these prophecies going on. I know we're hitting on a lot of the prophecies with the mark of the beast, because we're definitely in those times. Jacob's trouble, we're definitely in those times. All right, the end of America, the shutdowns and everything, we're in those times as well too. But nevertheless, you still also have the other prophecies concerning wars and rumors of wars that's taking place as well too. All right, so like I was saying, going into that earlier article from earlier this morning about the assassination on the Iranian nuclear scientists and things like that. All right, these things are pushing further and further towards the prophecies that concern the end time, the end time prophecies, because we understand that they're going to come pretty much simultaneously, as the scriptures say, when he's about to fill his belly, all right, going in the fullness of his sufficiency and things like that, when he's about to implement his new world order. All right, and that's going to consist of implementing the mark of the beast. All right, the scriptures say in Job that when he's about to fill his belly, then the Most High is going to rain it down upon him. All right, and that raining it down upon him is talking about the iron weapon, which is the ICBM missiles, the thermonuclear missiles. All right, and we know that those are going to rain down on Esau in the midst of what? World War III. All right, so and also, in these times as they're implementing this mark of the beast system, it's going to coincide with Jacob's trouble. So as you see, like Habakkuk 2 say, the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. All right, right now it's speaking loud and clear. In fact, it's screaming at you. All right. So we're going to jump into a couple of these articles. I'm not going to really read any of these articles. I might just touch on really the topics of them. All right. So let me go on down here. We still have this situation with the pandemic going on. All right. Let me jump down to. All right. So you have another one here. It's got the Taiwan. It says Taiwan lawmakers throw pig guts during parliament session to protest meat imports from the U.S. All right, so you have this governing body, all right, that they're how do I say, they're not on the same accord when it comes to trade and import agreements. All right, Turkey says EU calls for sanctions over Cyprus disconnected from reality. All right, and you also have these things going on between Turkey and Greece going on, which are both NATO members, going into what the beast starting to hate the whore. All right, it says New Delhi police ask to convert stadiums into prisons as Indian capital grapples with thousands of strong farmers. All right, so what's going on with this is basically like they did over here in America. They're basically not to say downsizing these farms, but let me read this first paragraph in here. Second paragraph. All right, it says farmers across India are taking part in demonstrations against agricultural reforms. They fear that the new rules of sales, storage, and pricing, first introduced in September, will strip all growers from bargaining powers and leave them at the mercy of big business. And that's what happened here in America, all right? And this is why you had a lot of these farmers going on strike and committing suicide and so on and so forth, all right? Let me see. We have some other ones. Salaka, give me a second to find these other. It's like 2 or 3 more I want to touch on. We just touched on that one. There was one about the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa that I was looking for. Wait a minute. No wonder. Salaki. I was in the wrong side. All right. It says more than half of UK adults say Black Lives Matter increased racial tensions. All right. That's one of them. And there's another one about Black Lives Matter and Antifa, which I wanted to read a little bit of that one as well, too. Or here it is right here. Is anyone actually surprised that the rioting comrades Antifa and Black Lives Matter are seeking a divorce as racial tensions come to their fore? Now, let me see, which paragraph was it? Let me just read this second paragraphs. All right, it says, if there are 2 organizations that can be held most responsible for the riots that have scarred America throughout 2020 is Black Lives Matter and Antifa. All right, which this is all being orchestrated by the government, you know, the people behind the scenes, you know. If you understand about NGOs, non-governmental organizations, people like George Soros, who back and fund and create these things to push a further agenda, problem, reaction, solution. George Soros is the creator and owner of Black Lives Matter. Despite the faces of the people that you see in these companies or whatever, whatnot, and so on and so forth, he's the one that's pretty much running these things, man. All right. But nevertheless, it's a ploy and attempt to further divide people and magnify smaller problems into bigger problems. All right. It says the 2 organizations that could be held most responsible for the riots. Because if you think about the Black Lives Matter protests, because they're going to go and they want justice, right? It would be easy just to start holding these police officers accountable. It's not like that they just, so-called black people are making up stories and they don't have no proof or no evidence. Like this whole year and really going in the last couple years, you know, you've been seeing these things videotaped with their body cams and everything like that. I think Trayvon Martin or Michael Brown, one of them, they had to start wearing these body cams. So you've been seeing these things going on and on and on and on. So if they really wanted to quell these skirmishes, they would just start holding the police officers accountable and so on and so forth, instead of dragging them out and all these different court decisions at the end all be all, you know. So further proof showing that these things are orchestrated and controlled by the powers that be. And plus, if you've ever seen in real life any of these Black Lives Matter protests with your own eyes, you would know that 95% of the people out there, all right, are basically non-black people. They like Edomites, basically, so-called white people, all right? You'll find a couple simping ass Jakes out there, or you know, some Jake men that's out there trying to pick up on these Edomite women, or some of these basically these black women that's been indoctrinated by going to college and trying to be ultra feminist. You see them with the green and the purple hair, super tight clothing, and not your normal high, bright, vibrant color hair, so-called Negro women that you see going to the club and stuff. These are these other ones, just like the typical Karen look, all right? But nevertheless, these are the only people of our own people that are actually in these groups, all right? But going back to this paragraph, it says, if there are 2 organizations that can be held responsible for the riots that have scarred America throughout 2020 is Black Lives Matter and Antifa. These groups have caused millions upon millions of dollars worth of damage and committed hundreds of crimes in the pursuit of what they consider justice. There's another paragraph or sentence I want to read in here. What they talk about? Oh, right here. It says, all right, it says, on one side, there are Black Lives Matter organizations with skeletons in their closets, all right? You know, what I was just speaking on, the oppression and the atrocity that Jake's been going through at the hands of these Edomites since we got over here, you know? When is there going to be a time of enough is enough, you know? And if this was really in reality, like, all right, well, look, we learned from y'all. Y'all was our parents and everything else like that, right? Y'all, according to y'all brought us over here and civilized us. Well, we seen what y'all did and how y'all reacted on September 11th. When some so-called Muslims came and blew up y'all buildings, which y'all went over, y'all still over there today, bringing justice to them people by dropping bombs on their ass. You getting your revenge to this same day, man, and y'all celebrated to this same day. but you tell us to forget about these things. It's happening to us every single day, right? All right, so these are the skeletons that you're talking about. You know, the atrocities, like in the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse, I think it's chapter 9 and verse 12 says, you know, basically there's been basically no other atrocities has been done unto the children of Israel. You know, there's been no worse things under the whole heaven has been done to the children of Israel. All right, so Jake has a reason to be standing up for themselves and calling out injustice, right? On the flip side, Antifa demographic trends to be rather similar to the Ku Klux Klan meeting. All right, so when you understand these two dynamics, you basically got two groups of so-called white people versus so-called black people, and they're using these groups to showcase on the news the hatred within one another, whatever, whatnot, to get these people to start thinking in these mindsets to create these groups of people so they can clash them towards each other. You know, it's an old fucking what is that dude? The Art of War, Sun Tzu, Art of War. Basically, you know, if you not strong enough to fight these two opposing armies, what you do is you go in there and you create a opposition on both sides and disinformation, making each other side think that they're at war with each other. And they start picking each other off and softening each other up, and then you go and you clean up the mess. All right, and that's what they're basically doing. They're setting it off between, you know, the so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans versus the so-called white people. All right, and you can see how these things are magnified in the elections. You know, you had Trump and his rhetoric, what he stood for, and with Biden and his rhetoric and what he stood for, and then you had all these different groups of people, all right, start following behind these groups. You know, before Trump came out talking about build a wall, 99.9% of these Edomites was never thinking about no shit like that. That had never crossed their mind to be like, build a wall. But because he created this thing, you have all these people now jumping on this bandwagon. Yeah, I agree with that. Then it's, how I say, magnifying these problems between the two groups, all right? Let me go back from there. This one here says, brutal police beating of massless Frenchmen hints at frightening future for lockdown of Europe. All right, they come, you know, they about to start locking these people down because of the sedition among men. All right, and invading one another. All right, I think there might have been one more I wanted to touch on. Oh, China to charge 12 anti-government protesters caught fleeing Hong Kong in a speedboat. All right, so hey, all over the whole world, you know, here's another one. Wales announces new COVID restrictions as earlier gains firebreak lockdown begin to fray. All right, so you have all these different uprisings of these people and everything like that, the civilizations of these different groups. All right, whether it's political, whether it's so-called racial injustice and things like that, you know, economic woes, all right, international woes with different countries and things like that. All right, all different levels, you have these debacles and things like that. All right, in fact, let me go to Luke first, and I'll come back to Matthew 24, because Luke, I mean, it's going to reiterate the same thing, but there's a little certain thing I want to read in Luke. All right. This is Luke 21 and 25. There shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth. This is the point. And upon the earth, distress of nations. All right. Not just one nation, not just an uprising in one nation and problems in one nation or whatever, whatnot. All right. It says distress of nation with perplexity and the seas and the waves roaring. So when you look at places like the Yellow Vest protests in France, the Black Vest protest, well, the Yellow Vest been going on damn near 2.5, going on 3 years, right? They now have the Black Vest protest, which is pretty much the Black Lives Matter protest before they tokened it Black Lives Matter. All right. Then you have the Hong Kong protests. All right, because they was up under basically European rule over there, and you have a difference between Hong Kong and China. But then now Hong Kong was supposed to be returned back to China and going back up under basically the communist rule. So these people that was living over there under, you know, so-called non-communist standards and whatever whatnot are now being blocked and so on and so forth, you know, and these people these people are uprising. It's like, give me a second. But nevertheless, you know, you have the elections going on, and you know, Trump talking about he don't want to leave the White House, and you have these people protesting. They had the Million MAGA March and so on and so forth, man. All right, the lockdowns, and people are protesting about these things as well too. All right, the losing of jobs and everything like that. So you have people that are pretty much upset and you know, basically discombobulated for a bunch of different reasons. There's not just all one reason. It's not like everybody's just protesting because of the lockdowns or you know, the vaccines being pushed out or any of these things. There's all kind of different things in there all over the place, man. The Black Lives Matter protest, which was started and sparked over here in America, is not just over here in America, man. All right. So it says, let me read just the bottom part of this again, because like I said, it's going to reiterate. It says, and upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity. All right. When you have perplexity, is like, you're perplexed on how to do certain things, like how some people look at a Rubik's Cube and they're perplexed on how to sit there and solve the Rubik's Cube. But nevertheless, this is what's going on, where you have these issues where it seems so like they can't come to a resolution. They can't figure things out. Like I was saying about the Black Lives Matter movement, man. All right. All that they really, if this was a real movement, all they asking is for you to start basically treating people fairly. Like, you got these people like the Amanda Geiger case, where she walked into the wrong apartment, all right, and thought somebody broke into her apartment and was sitting on her couch and eating ice cream, all right, instead of not being aware of her own surroundings and walking. Because just imagine if she wasn't a cop, right? If she was somebody else, she would be charged with trespassing into somebody else's house and murdering somebody in their own house in cold blood, all right? But nevertheless, you have these things going on right now, all right? But what, it's so hard to bring these people to justice or whatever, whatnot, and get fair and right justice with these things, man. All right. But nevertheless, it seems to be so perplexed on how to fix these things, man. All right. Verse 26, and men's hearts failing for the fear and for the looking of those things which are coming on the earth, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So when you look at these things, just like people are being afraid of, before the elections, what the turnout was going to be. All right. When whatever date it is, when, the inauguration day. You got people on edge about that as well, too. The people that want to keep Trump in office, they're on edge talking about what they're going to do with their militias and so on and so forth. The other people talking about, if he don't want to leave, we're going to remove him. All right. You still have these Black Lives Matter protests, these Karens out here. You have all these different things, the lockdowns, the medical situation that you got going on right now, man. You have all these people right now that are afraid of these different things. Oh, shit, they talking about a second lockdown, man. We barely are scraping by right now. We don't want to go into another lockdown that's going to finish us off, man. All right, business owners like, bro, we barely hanging on, bro. If we lock down again, it's going to be over with, man. All right, people are just looking at like, yo, we don't want to take these medical incentives or whatever, whatnot, because that's against whatever beliefs we have or whatever, whatnot. But we see we're not going to be able to work, have our children find a housing or anything like that. We're going to just basically be pilgrims in this earth, man. All right, so these things are causing people's hearts to melt, man. All right, they're all shook up over these things, man. All right, so now let's go over to Matthew 24. Like I said, it's going to reiterate these things. Matthew 24:3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, what shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Jumping down to verse 6. And you should hear of wars and rumors of wars. All right, so as we were reading to the articles, you had one about the assassination of the Iranian nuclear scientists and things like that. All right, you got Turkey and Cyprus. You have all these different things going on, man. All right, you have you still have what is that? America trying to put sanctions on Venezuela for trying to sell oil over to China and things like that, man. So, and they still over there trying to overthrow their government over there and steal all of their resources. All right, so you have all the signs of rumors of wars going on right now, man. All right, wars and rumors of wars. All right, you should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. All right, because, hey, with that Iranian thing right now, there was one of those articles saying that, hey, look, America was like, whoa. Y'all should wait till the investigation go through and whatever, whatnot, before y'all try to lash out or whatever, whatnot, But we all know these are all plans, and the Most High is working on inching them closer and closer and closer towards, that snare that's going to catch them in the trap. It's like those old purple bug zappers or whatever, whatnot. I guess I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's the light that attracts the bugs, the flying bugs to them or whatever, whatnot. And then all of a sudden they get caught like a deer in the headlight and they fly right on into it after seeing all their cousins get zapped. They drawn in, and at a certain point in time is a point of no return, man. All right. It says, verse 6, and you should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And so this is what, you see these things right now going on. People hear about us talking about these videos, and they say, oh, y'all think the world going to come to an end, which, the ways of life is coming to an end. All right. Your normal life, 2019, you ain't going back to that life no more. Hell, we could go back to 2001. All right. You ain't going back to a pre-2001 life. All right. You're not going to a pre-2020 life. All right. But nevertheless, some people will sit here and laugh and mock like, well, these things always happen. Y'all said that the end was going to come, or we about to go to World War III when Soleimani got killed. No, these are all wars and rumors of wars. Like the scripture said, it says, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. All right. We know that there's a buildup of all these things. We know that they got to implement that mark of the beast. All right. And we're going to have full force Jacob's trouble at this point in time. And you're going to see World War III take place, man. All right. Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. All right, and that's what you see going on as well too, man. You see in the different nations, whether, like the Antifa and Black Lives Matter, where you have Jacob versus Esau and things like that going on. All right, and then also kingdom against kingdom. All right, where you have these different nations that are fighting against one another, man, or having provocations. All right. Verse 7 again, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, for there shall be famines. All right, and you also see these things happening with the medical situation that's going on. Is causing a lot of these storehouses to be shut down, the factories to be shut down, the grocery stores to be shut down, and certain things like that. All right, people can't go and get food, or food is running off the shelf quickly. All right, people are in fear of lockdowns again, so they're overbuying and stuff like that, leaving some people with the short end of the stick, man. All right, so it don't necessarily have to be a weather-related famine, whereas people can't grow food and things like that. Nah, I mean, they can orchestrate a shutdown of the supply chain of food, and that's going to cause a famine. All right, or it could be like the toilet paper situation, man. All right, they never ran out of toilet paper. They never had a shortage of toilet paper, but people were buying the toilet paper off the shelf way faster than they could stock it on the shelves, man. All right, we were seeing videos of warehouses and warehouses and warehouses and warehouses full of toilet paper, but by the time, they can only fit so much on a truck at a time, and by the time they unload them off the truck, they don't even worry about taking them off the damn pallets. They're gone before they can even get the pallet, the pallet jack from off the damn pallet, man. All right, so the same thing could be happening with this food, and also with, there's a couple articles as well too, where there was a bunch of, I think it was 151,000 chickens they had to wind up culling. We don't really eat minks and things like that, but there was an article I think yesterday about that as well too, But you start to see these animals being killed off and things like that, man. All right. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence. All right, we got these pandemics going on. All right, and earthquakes in diverse places. All right, and all these are the beginning of sorrows. So these things are all the beginning of this time that we're living in right now, man. All right, if you was to be able to give an emotion to 2020, all right, say how 2020 was, like 2019, they said they was living their best life. That I guess was the best time that they had, and looking back, it was the best you was gonna have. All right, but if you was to think of an emotion or a feeling that you could theme 2020, it would be what? Lamentation, mourning, and woe. All right, this year ain't really been good for nobody save the elect, man. All right, we were rejoicing seeing our salvation coming closer and closer, while everybody else is out here in a panic frenzy, So we're gonna go from there to well. Let me go. Let me read down a little bit more. Verse 9, then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And a lot of these things are also coming when dealing with this here medical situation, how, we speak on the mark of the beast and so on and so forth. And it's going to get to a point where they already got articles about demonizing folks, about not wanting to take these things and so on and so forth. And, once, things go on, or however they're going to go on, people will start looking at us like, oh, y'all, you guys are basically domestic terrorists. You're trying to spread this disease, trying to kill us all off or whatever, whatnot, and this and that. Oh, these are the people that's over here spreading. These are the people that's out here doing this and that, man. You can watch plenty of videos on the internet right now about how certain people are walking inside stores without masks, and some of the other, it's not even the store employees, but some of the other customers in there are going ham on their ass and just spazzing on them, man. All right, so how much more in these days, you already know how the spirits work, where, if you in this here truth, a lot of people, they can understand that your spirit, they know there's something different, so they'll treat you a different type of way. How much more when they have a visual thing or some type of way, whether you have to wear a wristband or something to show that you've been, so on and so forth, and they see you without one, they're going to be calling the police on you. Thy own household should be thy enemy, man. So people are going to start, wanting to hate you and kill you, turn you over to the government officials and so on and so forth, man. All right. Verse 10, and then shall many be offended. All right, and this is the age that we're living in right now. They call it the snowflake generation. They had this one scenario. They had this one movie with, I think, Anne Hathaway, about some witches and stuff like that, right? And the way that they portrayed them, I guess she didn't have 5 fingers on her hands, like let's say 10 fingers. So she had less than the 10 fingers like we have on both hands or whatever, whatnot, or some other little thing. And I guess some other people were apparently offended by that or whatever, whatnot, and whatever, whatnot. You have all these people offended by all kind of different things. If you got this dude that walking around looking like Hulk Hogan, you know what I'm saying, want to identify as a woman, and you don't call him by the proper pronouns or whatever, whatnot, he could say he offended, all right, or so on and so forth, But nevertheless, this is what the type of scenario that we're living in. You know, you walk into the store, you try to hold the door open for somebody, or you just casually speak to somebody because y'all in a small proximity with one another, and they just look at you weirder. They feel offended by these things, you know. But nevertheless, you know, you may come to work and speak to a female employee. Hey, good morning, how's it going? You know, or have a nice day. You know, have a great weekend. Oh, he's flirting with me or whatever, whatnot. And then all of a sudden, it's a big debacle. You know, just from trying to be, you know, a normal human being to people. You know, but nevertheless, it says, verse 10. And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. All right. And so going into the same thing like I was just speaking on, you know, people are looking for, they done lost every damn thing right now. You know, the economy is collapsed. So they're sitting at home with all this pent up animosity. Maybe they split with their significant other, their children are, you know, they got divided feelings politically or whatever, whatnot about that. You know, they lost their job. The economy's crashing on them and everything like that. So they're already, you know, got all this pent up animosity. You know, it's funny that my damn neighbor, who I don't really speak to too very much, you know, we speak to each other because we sometimes be in the same vicinity, let his dog out or whatever, whatnot, and we just say hello, hey, how's it going? Just make a little small talk. This dude been coming out and speaking to me a lot more often, and he's just imposing his own shit on me right now. It's like, man, you know, starting a conversation. Yeah, I'm in a Trump slump right now. I'm mad that Trump lost, and I'm mad at this, and that. So they all bugged out about that. You know, you gotta watch how you move around them. You know, you gotta how does the scripture say, be peaceful with all men. You know, sometimes you gotta beguile these people, man. Yeah, man, I'm sad too. My boy Trump lost, man. Oh man, Trump was. I used to love Trump because, hey, man, you like, man, fuck that nigga Trump, man. Whatever, whatnot. This dude all hurt in his feelings or whatever, whatnot. He might be going home losing sleep over Trump losing. And now he planning plotting on you because he can't get to the source of his problem, but you closer to him. So now he started doing some old fucked up shit to you in your house or your car or whatever, whatnot, and so on and so forth, because he know that you had a different voting, whatever, whatnot. Even though we don't vote and we don't care about none of these political oppositions or whatever, whatnot. But nevertheless, you know, because you're not in the league with what they got going on, you know what I'm saying? You might be allergic to cheese. And he's like, oh, you don't like cheesy lasagna? Oh, you the problem. You the reason why I done lost my job. You just, like, bro, the reason you lost your job ain't got shit to do with my food allergies, bro. You just looking for somebody to lash out at right now, you know? But nevertheless, these are the times that we're living in, all right? It says, and, you know, you have to watch how you walk, how you move, and what you say, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes, hey, for us brothers, it's in the truth. We've grown accustomed to playing Clark Kent, man. Going out into our everyday lives or whatever, whatnot, and having to just lower ourselves to these lower standards and things like that, being around these people out here when they talking about certain things, you know, Thanksgiving, hey, Thanksgiving, how was your Thanksgiving? Oh, yeah, shit, mine was good. I ate great and blah, blah, blah. I can't wait to go home and eat again and this and that. Yeah, my Thanksgiving was great. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more awkward just like, why the fuck you don't, you know, then they start marking you out of these so-called quote-unquote weird people, and then you become the problem, man. All right? It says, verse 10, and then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. All right? Let me just jump to verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Pairing that with verse 10. All right, hey, like I was just going into, man. At this point in time, any little small thing could make you snap. And, hey, hell, today, while I was at work, man, I had one of my customers just blow up on me out of nowhere. But I was, you know, able to spiritually discern that her problems that had shit to do with me. She was just looking out for somebody to lash out on. You know, she was telling me that her husband died or whatever. He died a couple months ago, but whatever it is, she's trying to sell her house or some shit like that. And she was all butthurt about something else that was completely removed from me, but I was the closest person. Maybe she just got off the phone with somebody or whatever, whatnot. I was the only person around. She came out blasting me over some crazy shit or whatever, whatnot. I was just, you know, able to be able to discern these things. Like, all right, well, I can check this out, check that out. Like, you don't pay for this, but I'll take care of it for you, no problem, whatever, whatnot. And, you know, all right, reassured her everything was good. And then she's like, all right, well, great, have a nice day. And I'm like, see, this could have went way left if I could have just been like, hold on, bitch, whatever, whatnot. This shit ain't got shit to do with me. You don't pay for this shit and this and that, so on and so forth. But, hey, you got to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove out here, man. You got to also understand that you got to be a walking Clark Kent, especially in these times, man. You're going to be the number one most hunted, most hated people out here, man. All right, because of the spirit that's within you, man. As much as this wickedness is increasing on the earth, man, everybody, this wickedness can smell wickedness. How they say misery loves company, man. All right, these demons know where other demons are around on them, because you can have one person, like these two people, right, regular vessels or whatever, whatnot, right? But the demons that's inside of them, you know, the regular people in their regular mind can see somebody doing some old fucked up shit. They would know in their regular mind, like, this shit ain't even right. But because you got one demon that's inside this person and another demon over the other person controlling them demons just like, yeah, fuck it, let's go ahead and go tag this person car up or spray paint their house. I'll go help you out too. Yeah, fuck Trump, fuck Biden or whatever, whatnot, you know? So hey man, you got to walk, with wisdom out here, man. All right. I damn sure didn't want this lesson to go on this long, but try to run through the rest of it real quick. What is this? Second Ezra 6 and was it 6 and 9? No. You know what? For time's sake, I was gonna read all of this down, but for time's sake, I'm gonna read verse 22, 25, 22 through 24. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right, so just for time's sake, we could go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, and read about how the grind is going to cease. All right, and basically, like we read here, the storehouses being closed. There's not that the grinding is low, not very much work and production going on right now, and you see an all-time high of unemployment, man. All right, you can't listen to the news and the media about jobs are coming back or whatever, whatnot. They played this whole situation under Obama, man. All right, just because people are employed don't mean that you have, because you have a thing called underemployment. All right, you're underemployed. So you don't went to college, you became a doctor, a surgeon, or something like that. You've been doing that in that capacity for X amount of years. Now they had some kind of downsizing, and now you lost that job, but then you got another job. And people say, oh, well, they're employed, but yeah, this person's working at McDonald's. All right, now their income, and their way of living was one way, certain type of way. Now they're over here living like this. Not saying, Bill Gates type person used to make $16 billion a year or whatever, whatnot. Now he's only making $12 billion a year. Oh, what? That ain't the same. All right, this is a little different. All right, whereas people, you see in a lot of these people, I was talking to somebody about this today. A lot of people are buying homes. It's not that a lot of people have money like this, but a lot of people have to downsize and live with their families and things like that. So instead, you may have what they would be the grandparents and then their kids and then their kids, the grandkids. They may all live in different homes. The grandparents may live in a condo and the parents may live in a little house or something like that. And then all of a sudden they fall on financial hard times. And now they all have to live together. So now they move into a house together, man. All right. But nevertheless, it's because why? The shortage of all these jobs. You see this big gig-like economy. Everybody's driving Uber. Everybody driving Lyft. Well, you out and about in these cities, look at a lot of these Uber cars, man. These ain't your regular, high schooler type cars and things like that, man. You have certain jobs that's geared towards certain age brackets and groups of people, like, people that work at convenience stores and gas stations and McDonald's, Burger King, CVS, Walgreens, the grocery store and things like that, the cashiers and stuff like that are normally teenage people who are in college, or the elderly people who they're not trying to raise a family and pay for a mortgage and things like that off of that income based off of those things, right? And you would be able to tell by the types of cars that they drive and so on and so forth. You don't normally see a teenager or somebody like that around that age driving a $40, $50, $60, $70,000 car unless their parents are very well off or whatever, whatnot. They normally have their first car costing $1,500, $500 or whatever, whatnot. But now you're starting to see a lot of these Ubers and Lyft drivers and these Uber Eat drivers driving like, $35, $40, $50, $60,000 cars. The regular mind would think they just made bad financial decisions, but no, they had all these things. They had the Hellcat and a nice house before the economic collapse, and now they have to try to supplement, their one job because they got a shortage of hours and things like that, or they lost that job altogether. So now they picked up a small little job at Walmart or McDonald's, and now they got to do Uber and Lyft to supplement that just to continue on with their bills, man. All right. It says, verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall be given, and suddenly, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. All right, and we see these things going on because, hey, again, going back to the Antifa, the Black Lives Matter, man, that's a dangerous conversation to get into. You could be at work. You might be working with all these Edomites or whatever, whatnot, as a so-called black man, and something might have happened in your city. They might have burned down the mall. They might be the conversation at work, like, oh, y'all see them Black Lives Matter protesters? Did they burn down their own city, burn down this? And I just don't understand the type of coonery that's going on out here. Then you feel some type of way, like, damn, how you talking about our people without looking at the things that they've been going through or whatever, whatnot? Now that's bringing a divide, and now your best friend is looking at you all weird or whatever, whatnot, or like I was giving about my neighbor. They're a heavy Trump supporter. We didn't know nothing about any of these things, or I don't really know too much about my neighbor like that, except for his name and the type of dog that they got, and they be letting their dog out to use the bathroom and shit like that, and that type of shit or whatever, the little small little things. But nevertheless, I didn't know his political party beliefs were and everything like that, and how we feel and how depressed this dude is until these times now coming out. So, hey, man, you might have to watch the type of conversation you having around your household and your family, your neighbors hearing like, yeah, these motherfuckers voted for Biden. That's why we lost and blah, 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 blah. Hey, and these things become a burden or a wedge between the two of you people to the point to where y'all start fighting with one another, man. Or you hear about them, or we ain't taking these medical incentives or whatever, whatnot, and then they over there freaking out, oh, these bastards gonna kill us and our kids, they just don't care about anybody, blah, blah, blah. We got to start doing something to get them up out the neighborhood or whatever, whatnot, man. All right? Or somebody that lost their job and they looking at you, you still living good and posting up on Facebook and Instagram how lavish your life is. Now the neighbors looking at you starving, they going over there running through your shit, man, kicking in your doors, man. All right? And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, because you also had a famine of the word coming in. You also have more shutdowns and lockdowns and things coming. All right. Let me go from there. Oh, shit. Let me go back. I'm going to just get to the point because we read this quite a bit. Man, let me just start at 14. Hey, the Spirit has it. 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe unto the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands. And this is what all these articles I've been touching on has been about. All right, on a local level from the different, like the Black Lives Matter and Antifa. These aren't militaries. These aren't representations of nations, governments, and things like that, man. These are just your local populations uprising, man. All right, you have the protests against the governments and so on and so forth. All right, you have protests inside the governments. All right, you have all these different things going on, but then you also have conflicts between different nations. All right, enemies, and then also against allies. You know, it says, "For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands." All right, and there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand. You have these no police zones, the defund the police campaigns, nobody trusting the police. All right, you have all these different things going on where the police are also coming out with their military equipment and bombarding the people or whatever, whatnot, man. All right, verse 17, a man shall desire to go in the city and shall not be able. You have this medical condition that's going on where they're about to start locking down different states, and you already have it in certain airports where you got to be either we have to go through certain medical procedures. By the time when you land in certain places, you got to be quarantined for certain places. They're not going to allow you to enter certain cities. You know, they had this big travel ban over Thanksgiving and the holidays being canceled and all these different things, man. All right. So, hey, you can't even go into certain countries right about now, man. All right. So people vacationing all over the world, going from state to state, visiting family and relatives and things like this. Hell, if you was going to school in college in one state and your family, you know, you normally would live in another state, hey, man, you might be stuck there, man. All right. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled and houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. You know, you have a lot of these people marching through some of the richer neighborhoods and trying to destroy their neighborhoods and so on and so forth, man. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor and shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And these days are coming once they start implementing, you can't go into these stores over certain things and so on and so forth, you know, dealing with the medical situation. 2nd Ezra 16 and 17, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So I said, if there was a mood or a theme or a mood or emotion to be the theme for 2020, it would be this, man. Lamentations, mourning, and woe, man. This is all 2020 has been, man. All right, the only people that has been rejoicing in 2020 is really the elites and the elect. All right, because the elites have been buying up everybody else's losses they've been having, and the elect is seeing their salvation come. All right, so hey, everybody else in between, they losing out right now, man. All right, verse 19, behold, famines and plagues, tribulation, anguish is sent as scourges for an amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. All right, so going into that, you know, you have these people that don't understand that all these things are happening because, you know, they've given away all their rights. So now the government's coming down with great tyranny and things like that. They don't care about these things. All right, you have other people that's like, yo, well, we understand that a lot of this is a ploy, so they ain't doing certain things. They're just moving certain ways, and then they're getting mad at these different things. All right, here's a more lightweight scenario, because I don't really want to talk about the medical condition. But so in 2008, the housing crisis. All right, these people under their own ways, they wind up buying into this here big lie or whatever, whatnot. When things start collapsing, all right, they didn't get bailed out. These big corporations got bailed out, all right? And yet the people still took the bait second go round. They're doing it again right now, man. All right, so look, you have all these different things that's going on, but yet they're not taking heed to these how do you say, these disciplinary actions that should turn them back to, oh shit, we fucked up, we was doing the wrong thing. You know, it's like a person going out there doing 100 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour speed zone, and you get pulled over by the cops and get an enormous ticket. As soon as you the cop leaves you from pulling you over, you go right back to doing 100 miles an hour again, man. You should have learned from the things going on before. These people can't wait till the so-called things go back to normal, to go back out to start partying and living it up and living in a debt and not caring about the things going on, not caring about the laws that's being passed and so on and so forth. They still not wanting to watch the news because of all the so-called negativity going on around there. So they don't really see their future coming, man. All right. Verse 20, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. Behold, victory shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth. All right, and so these are the times that we're living in right now, man. All right. And I wanted to pull out two other precepts, but nevertheless, Lord willing, the point was made. I didn't want to go this here long, but hey, these are the times that we're living in, man. Times of great tribulation, mourning, and woe, man. And these things are also, the signs of the times of the end that's coming. You know, wars and rumors of wars, uprisings and uproars of the people. All right, distress of nations with perplexity, man. All right, right now you have a great confusion going on over the whole earth, because why? Scriptures say darkness have covered the earth and gross darkness to people, man. All right, so Lord willing, you were edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And citation, much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.